Do you need money to be happy?
No. Money's good, but it's a fool's errand to think, oh, I'm rich, I'm going to be happy. It doesn't work that way. Let the money come when it comes. And it'll come maybe when you're in your 20s or 30s or 40s. It doesn't really matter that much. Don't focus on money all the time.
Today we dive into the life of California billionaire Carl
Ain't gonna lie,
Barney.
that's-
He's what some
that's
would
facts.
say is living proof of the American dream. You see, Carl grew up in
Barney.
England in a family of modest means, and he came to America as a young man with just a few dollars to his name. Eventually
Right.
in his career, he founded a collection of private colleges, and through the success of these colleges, he created an immense amount of wealth. Carl believed with his schools that he was revolutionizing education. However, the state of California felt differently, and Kamala Harris, the California Attorney General at the time, made the controversial decision to force his schools to shut down. And we'll be diving deeper into that.
Damn, for real?
But for now, Carl is on a new mission, launching a book with a radical new idea that might change the way you think about life, money, and happiness. In this episode, we see into the world of the ultra wealthy, and we ask the questions that everyone wants to ask a billionaire. Before we get into the life of a billionaire, I gotta tell you about some gnarly computer stuff. There's a software out there called AnyDesk. A business. He's Michael Jordan. He won the game, and we should look at him. But then there's another aspect of like they control everything.
You want to take a dip in the pool?
Yeah. Good morning.
It's Tommy G at your door.
Tommy.
Nice to meet you.
Good to meet you.
How are you?
Welcome. I'm doing great, thank you.
So we're here in your palace, huh?
Well, I wouldn't call it a palace, but it's got a nice view.
How old were you when you made your first $1 million?
39.
And how old were you when you made your first $1 billion?
That's censored. That was actually a few years ago.
I detect a bit of an
Damn,
accent.
he just now
Yes,
became
I
a
was
billionaire.
born, raised, went to school in England. When I was 18, I left England. I traveled overland from England, London, through France and Italy, Yugoslavia, Bulgaria. Spent 5 years in Australia, traveling around all Australia, and then came to the great United States.
Right now, we are in a magnificent, beautiful house. How'd you grow up?
We were not very poor, but we didn't have any money. There were 6 of us to feed. This was
okay.
after the war in England, the Great War. The
Food
World
was still
War II.
being rationed for up to 10 years after the war, right?
Exactly, you know that. That's good. You must have read a book, something about that. So yeah, there was rationing, and you know we're very frugal, live very modestly.
And it's the thing about California, bro. That house ain't that big, and it's all closed in. But I bet you that mug worth a lot of money. And like, it just is how high California cost of living is, bro. Like houses you don't even think would be worth this much be $4 million house. When you can come to the Midwest or Texas, you know, the Midwest or the South and get you a $500,000 house and be way bigger than that, and you got some land. Like they said, that house is not that big at all, and you can tell and it's all bunched up next to people. Like it's just the California cost of living is crazy, boy. That mug probably about, I don't even know.
I think a lot of young people, especially young men right now, are feeling like they need to be a millionaire when they're 20 or they're 18, and they feel this grand urgency to do so. What would you tell them?
I'd say urgency is great, ambition is great.
Right.
But don't press it. Let it happen. Let it unfold. Pursue your dreams. Pursue a purpose. Know what your purposes are. My purpose was education. I wanted to do a great job in teaching people. That's where I made my money, in education. But the education came first and the money came secondary. Let the money come when it comes. And it'll come maybe when you're in your 20s or 30s or 40s. It doesn't really matter that much. Don't focus on money all the time. It'll take care of itself.
Did ever in your dreams think you'd be
That's some free
in
game
a
right there.
multi-million-dollar house on the coast of California?
Yes, I did. Actually, yeah, I'm a big believer in dreams.
You just wrote a book focusing on happiness. Why?
Well, it was an experiment that I
Carl B.
conducted,
Barney,
and I saw
happiness
the
experiment.
results of the experiment. I saw people getting happier, and I thought, wow, this is working. I better write a book. I had no intention of writing a book until I
Right.
saw what happened. I found it was inspirational, and I thought the world needed to know about this innovative way of increasing your happiness.
Have you ever been depressed before?
I was depressed one time in my life when I was a teenager. I just couldn't figure it out. And I made the mistake of reading, and this is a long time ago, I made the mistake of reading a book on psychology, which made me even more depressed. But I was depressed, I think, for about 2 days.
Do you
I can see
need
that.
money to be happy?
No. Money's good. It helps with happiness. There's no question about it. There's a lot of values you can get from money. But it's a fool's errand to think, oh, I'm rich, I'm going to be happy. It doesn't work that way. Money.
How y'all? I'm bad for pause, but how y'all feel about that? Like I said, a lot of people say, the quote is, money can't make you happy. A lot of people say, it sure the hell can. You feel me? But he's saying, yeah, it can, but at the same time, it's just money. It can make you happy, but what if my sitting there like, what if you got money but you don't have nobody to share it with, or do things with, like you just rich by yourself. So you feel me? Like what y'all feel about that? Because I'm like. I'm happy, but I am like one of the people like, hey, money can make you happy, like especially if you got a lot of it, because you can do whatever you want. But I listened to a quote on from a sermon on this past Sunday, and he was saying, the preacher, he was like, well, a lot of people think they are blessed because of materialistic things, and when in real life you should be blessed because you waking up every day, just being on earth, and that's that same thing could come with with being with money. So you feel me? How y'all feel about that? You feel me? Y'all let me know.
Is secondary to having something inside of you, your dreams, your goals, your ambitions. That's
Right.
the main thing. And then make as much money as you need to fulfill your dreams. I still have a dream of another house, but this is a
This is
dream
just a
house.
starter house for you?
Yeah, this is sort of, yeah, starter house.
During your peak
He said it's a
working
starter
days,
house. It's crazy.
What was the most hours per week you were working?
Certainly 100 hours, maybe a little bit more or less. I don't recommend it, but there's times when you do it because that's what needs to get done.
Right. I feel.
This is an interesting painting. It's not a mural, it's a fine art done by Brian Larson. This painting over here is Prometheus. And you know the story of Prometheus? He took fire, which symbolizes enlightenment. The enlightenment from the gods, the fire from the gods, and brought it to man.
If you don't mind me asking, what is the most you've ever paid for a piece of artwork?
A few $100,000.
Wow.
The first college I did was Matthew Arnold College in England, where I studied language and math, and I finished the math course, but then I went to Australia, so I didn't complete the full program. Then in Australia, I took a course in accounting and did not care for it, so I dropped out of it.
Do you still need to go to college to succeed?
In some fields, you need to go to college. Obviously, if you're going to be a doctor, you've got to go to college. If you're going to be a lawyer, you have to have a law degree. You have to do so. There's some fields. So I would say yes, absolutely, and no, absolutely. It depends what you want to do.
Can we check out your kitchen?
Now you're getting very personal.
Yeah.
But I'll make an exception.
Okay,
Come on,
okay.
we'll take a look at the
Well,
refrigerator.
you gotta see what the kitchen look like.
This one is called the magic refrigerator.
I mean, it's a big-ass
because
kitchen.
when
My mama
anything
love that.
runs low, it magically is topped up. So I never run out of anything. Never run out of milk or oranges or anything like that.
What's your
Right.
favorite food?
I love the morning succulent oranges, fresh, cool oranges. I love the foo-foo food once in a while, going out to dinner, but I have a wonderful housekeeper. Her name is Lorena. She just cooks clean and wholesome. I will have an occasional wine once in a while, but very rarely. I stay off alcohol.
Am I right in guessing that sugar is also a minimum in your diet?
Sugar is death. No sugar, or as little sugar as possible, and lots of protein, particularly when you're getting older.
I saw you at a gym downstairs.
Yeah, man, giving y'all free
I
game,
do
man.
wrestling, I do jujitsu. I think I can look at someone's body and tell if they work out. One thing I noticed on you, your forearms, dude. Those are
Yeah.
strong forearms, okay? Right here, you got the veins going on. A lot of people do bicep curls, but a real measure of a man, especially grip strength, are in the forearms.
I work out isometrics 1 day a week. I have a trainer come by on Wednesday who does more flexibility and balance type. And on Thursday, I have a strength trainer who does weights with me. And then Friday and Saturday, more cardio.
Right.
Everybody has an age. You know, I'm gonna live until I'm 80 or 90, or maybe they shoot for 100. He said, well, why not extend it? Why not go for a bigger number? So I thought, well, what can I really, I said, what's the record? It's a bit over 120. I think it's 122 is the record. I think, well, I can shoot for, no guarantees, unfortunately. My doctors will not put it in writing. This is like the workroom.
I feel you. Hey, funny, but I feel
computer stuff, meetings sometimes.
Carl, I see you surrounded by a lot of books right now. Is there any one book that you would say has been most impactful on your life?
Well, there's a lot of books that are impactful, but one major one has been Atlas Shrugged by Ayn Rand.
Atlas Shrugged is a 1,000-page book by Ayn Rand, and it is basically the Bible for hardcore capitalists. The premise of the book is essentially that the hero, the entrepreneur, is continually overcoming rules and regulations put in their path by the enemy, the government, and it shows the entrepreneur's journey to overcoming this evil. This book is foundational to Carl's thinking and helps you better understand someone in the ultra-capitalist category. I read it in college and recommend you do if you have some extra time on your hands.
I wanted to do something meaningful with my life, and then I did the soul searching. I came up with 2 high values. I love management. Crazy, but I love it. I love management. I also love education. I find it's a high value for me and a high value for other people. So I wanted to do something that involved management and education. So that's when I acquired my first private college, a business college in San Jose, California. Went broke after 6 months. So then I had to roll up my sleeves and work.
Right, and go back at it again.
Became very successful. And then over the next many years, I grew it to 20 on-ground campuses in various six western states. And then started a university called Independence University, which had 1,500 people working for it. Grew quickly to 10,000 students. It was quite successful in those days.
And then you had a battle with the government. They shut your schools down, if my research is correct.
Elizabeth Warren. So
they wanted to make a state school or something?
To be one of her enemies. She and Dick Durbin ordered the colleges closed, and they talked to each other behind the scenes, and there's a bunch of activists that hate private colleges. All colleges and universities ought to be run by the government. Everybody knows that. So
I was going to say, I knew that's what it was, because they wanted it to be controlled by the government. They didn't want it to be ran by just one person. They wanted control of it. And I knew that's what it was. Like, it is sad. Like, damn, bro, this is his money. This is how he got rich. But the state and the government want to come in and control it. You feel me? It's sad, but that's just how they work.
So to speak. But I was private and profitable, and they didn't like that.
Right.
Hey,
they don't want you making money without them getting profit of it.
Fantastic.
Carl starts off his morning with a few Zoom meetings. The first one is him giving marching orders to his team of assistants, and another one is catching up with his friend Peter Diamandis, a man who is a powerhouse in the space of innovation and someone Carl passionately supports.
I think I heard it.
Remember, life is to be enjoyed. Enjoy the day, and I'll catch up with you when I come back home.
Okay, wonderful. Well, you have a great day.
What was your next move after your schools got shut down?
That's crazy.
I sort of coasted a little bit. I did some consulting work. I did a couple of things like that. But I think the next big thing was the book. And it took me 3 years to write the book, and now I'm working on promoting the book.
Guys, there's something you should know. Carl has a free happiness quiz he designed to help you better understand yourself and how happiness comes to your specific personality type. I took this quiz and enjoyed reading through the results. If you would like to take it for yourself, the link is in my description.
There are a lot of people in my situation that have money and they don't know what to do with it. They give it away to charities, which is good. They give it away to the universities, which is fine, the hospitals and various charities. Whoever it was that enabled you, or me in this case, to become successful and happier, acknowledge them. And I had 20 people in my will, and I got down, I sat down with them just like I'm sitting down with you, and I said, look, you've been enormously helpful to me. You've done this and you've done that and you helped me in this way. So be very specific. And I said, I'm really grateful. And I want to express that gratitude to you by giving you a happiness grant. So I said to them, I said, I don't want this money to be a problem for you, to make you more successful and happier. They said, well, what kind of plan? I said, well, I want you to write a happiness plan. And they said, happiness plan, what's that? I said, well, I'll hire a coach for you, a happiness coach, and they'll help you develop a plan. And when I see the plan that you know what you're going to do with the money, I'll send it to you all at one time. It's yours.
One thing that I'm observing is you can look at siblings within a family, and some are very ambitious, some are very lazy, and some are in between. To me, it almost seems like there's an intrinsic thing that some people have and some people don't. What do you think it is that sets the ambitious apart from the non-ambitious?
I think there is such a thing as temperament.
Right. Yep.
How you're born, it seems like to influence it. But I think there's an influence. I think beyond that, and what we can control, is what we read, people that we associate with, identifying early in life or later in life something that you love to do, that fascinates you,
and do it,
that motivates you. And then if you can do that, and some people do it and some people don't, and it evolves over a period of time until you say, hey, this is what I want to do with my life.
In the pursuit of wealth, do you ever felt like you left relationships with family and friends on the back burner and you regret it?
I was never in a pursuit of wealth, interestingly enough. I wanted enough money to not have to worry about it, but I never pursued wealth. I loved management, I love education, and I pursued that, and the money came.
One thing I've come to learn about many of the ultra-wealthy is they view time as their most valuable asset. So instead of spending extra time driving through LA traffic, we head to a private airstrip where Carl has a helicopter ride waiting for us.
That's player. Like, you feel me? He got so much money, he got a private helicopter just to fly over the city, get to one end of the city, and not to be in the traffic. Like I said, that's what it's all about. Like I said, he said, everything has a timing on it. When it's your time to come, it's come. Like I said, just keep working hard and grind, find your passion. That's what he basically saying. And you feel me? I'm learning a lot from this because I'm starting with this YouTube thing. That's what I've been doing. I wanted to do it, and I'm finally doing it. And it just listening to him, he's speaking facts. But like I said, it's player though. Like he got a whole you got so much money that you got a private helicopter to fly you over different points of the city.
Yeah, thank you for a safe flight. I appreciate it. A little bit of happiness for you, okay?
Black shirt, wait.
You have a good day.
You as well.
See you on the way back.
Absolutely, we'll be here.
But the American dream is so important. And it inspired generations of people, and it needs to be revived. There's no Russian dream, or even English dream or Australian dream. It's typically American. And that says something about the American mindset. That we want life to be better for ourselves and our family.
Why do so many people today feel like it's out of reach?
Something really bad happened in America. And, it's probably not just one thing, but one thing after another happened. Somehow we've lost the spirit of America. We've lost the dream. And that's very sad.
So it seemed like to me, the way you're articulating it, the American dream
is not a thing.
It's not a policy, but it is a belief in a better future that we had for many years in this country, but it's been dampened down in recent times.
It's diminished and it's faded, and that's very sad.
Carl is on the move promoting his book launch, so our first stop is at the iHeartRadio headquarters where he sits down with Ellen Kay, the host of the #1 radio show in Los Angeles. Hey there.
Who are you?
Carl, I'm Ellen.
I'm not going to shake your hand. Are you kidding me? I'm a red-blooded American. Good to meet you. Lovely.
Yeah, welcome. Thank you for coming. All right, we're here with Carl Barney. Welcome to our radio show and the Feel Good Morning Show and this podcast. This is all about people who make us feel good, Carl, and you are one of them. Welcome.
Well, thank you for inviting me. I'm pleased to be here.
I am loving your book, The Happiness Experiment. Carl B. Barney, tell me about the happiness experiment.
This happened naturally with real people, with real experiences. Came from three places. One, I almost died in a plane crash. We were diving into the grass. That's what I thought, this is not going to be fun. The next thing that happened was that I heard that my sister's husband was dying. And I sat down with her and I said, Janet, I'm really sorry. I said, you're in my will, and I want to bring it forward and give it to you now so that you can fulfill any last wishes with Carla and her husband. But my older brother was sitting there, and I said, well, I'm going to do the same thing with you. His wife went ballistic. She said, this is too much money. I don't want anything to do with it. It's wrong. And she stormed out of the room. So that was a big surprise, but it gave me a lesson. And then the next thing that happened was, I'm looking over my financial statements, and I've been very fortunate. I've made a lot of money, but there was money sitting on my financial statement which wasn't doing anything. And these things came together. The people in my will after the plane crash, my sister giving her the inheritance, and now this money is. I said, how can I use this money for myself and those I really cared about? So that started the experiment.
Based off your experiment, do you think universal basic income is a good idea?
Oh, that is such a complicated question. I'm really not qualified to answer that, but it's good and it's bad. I mean, it's good if it gets rid of a whole lot of government interference and complication. So economically it might work, as Milton Friedman said. But generally speaking, I think you destroy lives by giving people money then they're not ready for it.
And I've actually found that giving money away is very hard and oftentimes creates resentment in the people that you give it to. How did you avoid that with some of your closest friends and inner circle?
That was something I had to struggle with. How can I just do this? Sit down with my friends who are, you know, they're substantial people.
Right.
They wouldn't accept charity. They didn't want a gift, but it was delivered in such a, and I said, you've got to think of me as being dead. You don't owe me anything. I said, if not, I don't want to do this if it's going to make a problem with our friendship. And some of them did. 3 of the people said, no, I can't accept it.
I thought it would be an interesting dynamic to schedule a meeting with billionaire and ex-cons that were running the streets of Los Angeles. Some of these guys like Bozo did major prison time, but now after getting out, are entrepreneurs eager to talk business with Carl.
Thank you.
Meet you. How are you?
That's all about, bro. Like, especially seeing how most of the time when you get out of prison, you got a record. Most of you are a felon. A lot of people ain't gonna hire you. So most of the time it's just the best probably to start your own business, bro. And find out what you find out what you like to do and start it. Cause like I said, most people ain't gonna deal with a felon and not hire felons and you know. So like I said, that's probably the best part to do. Like especially if you got a talent, you know what you want to do, and you just got out of prison, bro. Just start you a business, get you going, and live that way.
Good.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you, Angel Reyes.
Hello, Angel. Good to meet you.
How you doing, Jay Solano?
Fine. Leave me a hand, okay? That's good.
I think the thing is here is we're all on a similar quest of life. We're all trying to be successful. We're all trying to be entrepreneurs. And I feel like there's not a lot of it that we learn in school. So I feel like this is a cool way where we all come from different parts of life.
Yes, sir.
You grew up in England, you guys grew up in LA, I grew up in the suburbs of Chicago, moved to Milwaukee. And I think it's just cool to brainstorm and see what we can
Tommy from the suburbs to the rack.
Advance our missions, you know?
Predominantly, we grew up in the city of Pico Rivera. Me and him are childhood friends. You know, both of us had rough childhoods, whatever. I just did 10 years in prison. I've been out about 9 years now. So after I did my 10 years, I told him I needed to get back on my feet, you know what I'm saying? Figure out something. I didn't want to. It was a revolving door, you know what I mean? I didn't want to go back to prison no more. I put myself through a trade school. I did photovoltaic, and also independently, I'm a recording artist. Yeah, so signed with OTR, got a deal offer, and I've been doing a lot of like administration with them, like helping with artists, also putting on music and.
Seems like you could teach me some things.
Maybe. Yeah. I mean, depends in what area you're trying to do it in, you know? But we're all kind of entrepreneurs. He has his own fashion brand too. He does real estate also.
But I was telling him about making a curriculum, whether it's 6 weeks or 8-week curriculum for juveniles or for parolees. You know, some type of trade.
Fast.
Where you
fast.
Immersion. Yeah, get into it and get out.
What's dire here?
You give the incentive to have a job after it.
I think that's a fabulous idea.
So I ended up fighting for my life for about 43 days.
Wow.
In the hospital, refused the ventilator, refused the blood transfusion.
You bounced back like that?
And within 2 days, I was getting better. I got severe lung damage. I got blind in one eye. So I had to, of course, now I'm disabled, but I had to move differently and learn how to move differently. And it was a process for me for about a year and some change.
You literally came from death's door. I mean, you were about as low as you could go,
Yeah.
physically and mentally.
Absolutely.
I mean, you were dead. You were gone.
Absolutely.
And then you turn it around, and in the last few years, you've done all of that?
Yeah.
You're freaking amazing. Tommy was asking me, he said, homeless and all of that, what's the solution? I said, I don't know. I don't know what the solution is. I don't know how you deal with the problems that, people get in that cycle and they never make it work out. You guys have the answer. Today, Tom said to me, he said, we're going to meet these guys from the hood or from, from downtown. And he said, they've done some amazing things with their life and they've turned their life around. That's amazing things. And, I'm going to meet with them and maybe they're going to ask you some questions and learn from me. But right now, for this first half an hour, I've learned from you guys.
What's one of the biggest lessons in business you've learned?
I think one of the things that really made a big difference to me is to knowing what you want to do with your life. It's huge. You can
That's with
die
anything,
without
though.
knowing what you want to do with your life. But if you spend the time thinking about it, talking to people, talking to your romantic partner, talking to your friends, talking to a coach, but figure out what you're going to do and why you're doing it.
Right.
Carl, for the people out there that haven't accumulated a fortune yet, how can they use your book? How can they give back to their people?
But it's not a matter of giving back. Nobody stole anything. Nobody has to give anything back. But people that have wealth, they want to use it in the service of their own happiness.
Right.
And the happiness of those that they care about, those that love, and for whom they are grateful. This is a wonderful mechanism of giving them not a bequest, but a prequest to enrich their lives, their success, their happiness.
Who's a hero of yours?
Ayn Rand. I mean, she is courageous intellectually. She has promoted some ideas which were just so revolutionary, so much ahead, and she stands by her ideas and she defends them and she's articulate there. Who would write a book called The Virtue of Selfishness and put that in the title? And everybody knows that selfishness is an awful thing and so forth.
Yep.
But then when you get to understand, and that bothered me, I wasn't going to read that book. But then when I got into what she meant by that, which is living your own life and having the greatest life you can and loving your own life and loving life. I don't agree with everything on Rand read and said, but in every substantial way, I think this woman is a hero.
Carl heads to another radio show to continue promoting his book, and this time he sits down with the popular host Rick Dees.
Hey, it's me.
How are you, buddy?
I'm good, and you?
I'm the life of a billionaire.
My assistant is in love with you.
Oh no, I'm gonna hug you for that.
Oh, well, hug her. I'll take that to her. She's gonna be flipped out.
First of all, she gets these.
There's a blood.
Too hot. Shelly gets this. If you could open, I'm gonna sign it right now.
Look at that. He knows how to write.
By the way, it is Rick Dees. I am so very, very blessed to be in the presence of Carl Barney. And it is a joy to have you. This is a conversation, and I hope that anyone listening or even watching would take something away and say, I'm going to try that.
Right now, there's a left-wing populist movement being led by AOC and Bernie Sanders, and they're filling stadiums around the country. And one of the premises of their movement, I guess you could call it Eat the Rich, but they say that not one person in the world should be worth over $999 million that should be taxed at 100%. Is that a good idea?
Damn,
It's
tax
evil.
at 100%.
It's unjust. It's insane. It's communism. And these guys should go and enjoy China or North Korea.
Korea,
That's where
you
they
feel
should
me?
be living.
Them communist
It's-
countries.
It's against human nature. If somebody is capable of making lots of wealth, they don't spend it. I mean, these people are so stupid. I'm sorry. You can only eat so many fine foods. You can only have so many airplanes, so many homes. What do you
Right.
think these people, they reinvest the money? Who would you rather have spend billions of dollars? Elon Musk or AOC and Bernie Sanders? You want the government to spend your money, or do you think you should keep it to yourself?
They're afraid it will get
He ain't lying. He is not lying. He telling the truth, bro. Like that's how these billionaires stay rich because they get the money, they reinvest it, and keep making more money. Nine times you don't see. Look at him. Look how he dressed, bro. He got on a long sleeve shirt with a vest over it. Well, it ain't even a fancy. Ain't no luxury. Ain't no designer vest. It's a regular ass vest with a long sleeve shirt on, collar shirt. When you see him out post, you probably wouldn't even know he worth $1 billion or got $1 billion to his name. But that just you feel me? That's how people is though. People show their money off and show what they got. I ain't saying nothing's wrong, but like real life, that's what rich people do. They invest it, get more money. But you never know. Like say you can't. It's not as a limit on how many cars you can have, how many homes you have.
to a point in this country that the ultra wealthy will be able to influence elections, influence policy, influence law to the extent where they just get to run everything. That's their thought. What is your take on it?
You mean like Elizabeth Warren and Bernie Sanders and OAC are influencing the culture and the thing? Those guys have all the political power. Elon Musk and others, he doesn't have any real power. He has persuasion, has ideas, but he doesn't have any power.
You're like, I think initially when we think billionaires, it's gonna be like, holy shit, it's this guy. And he's gonna be so outrageous. I only have a sample size of 2, but these guys have been incredibly chill. Like just pretty down to earth.
Because they regular people, they just got money.
A billionaire actually, it's how you became a billionaire that really matters. I don't think just being a billionaire makes you a good or bad person. It's how you did that. So I'm curious to know what you guys think in the comments. And is this something that you aspire to be? Like, do you want to be a billionaire? Me personally, the lifestyle I live, I know I don't need to be a billionaire, nor do I want to be one. Like my life, even if I had $1 billion, my lifestyle wouldn't change. I would still drive my Chevy Cruze. I would occasionally buy ribeyes. Maybe I would buy nicer Airbnbs when I go on vacation, but it's not like I would be doing that much outrageous stuff. All right, folks, that was the day in the life. I hope you enjoyed yourselves. Carl, is there anything you'd like to end this piece with?
This has been a very exciting and stimulating day. It's been a pleasure working with you guys. And as we say in England, I'm chuffed, which means I'm very pleased. Very satisfied. Thank you. That was a great day. Thank you. And thanks to the camera guys who were
These guys
everywhere.
crush it. If you could broadcast a message to every home in the country, what would it be?
Your life is important. Your own life is important. And respect that. And want what you want, whatever it is that you want. Dreams, purposes, values, whatever you want, what you want is important. And make it important. And Billionaire has a bigger mindset. And after a while, the numbers just become, more zeros.
Folks, I hope you enjoyed today's episode. If you'd like to purchase Carl's book, which I highly recommend you do, The Happiness Experiment. I read it. It made me think a lot about what kind of impact you want to lead in this life and planning for happiness. Do yourself a favor, get the book. Link is in the description. Love you guys. See you next week. Peace.
On me, man. Shout out to Tommy G, man. Shout out to Carl Barney. Like I said, Tommy G just don't be in the hood. He's a real journalist. He be everywhere. Like I said, but dude was giving out some free game. Like I said, it just, hey man, if you got a dream, you want to do it, bro. Work at it, and then it come true. Like I said, that's basically what he's saying. Like I said, he's a billionaire. like I said, and like I said, you can't spend all the money. You feel me? So like I said, just reinvest. You get some money, reinvest it. Just do it, flip it. Like I said, it just you see how he, like I said, look at how he dressed. You wouldn't even know he's a billionaire. You feel me? Like I said, he ain't got on a whole, like I said, he ain't got on no flashy jewelry. He ain't, he ain't even have on a watch. He just plain simple clothes. He went around, had a meeting, did 2 interviews. Now he back at the crib. Like I said, but I was being a, if it happened to happen to be a billionaire, then it happened. But I really don't think I would want to be a billionaire either. But you never know. Like I said, but don't chase the wealth, just let it happen. That's what the message was. And man, I'll catch y'all on the next one. Like I said, shout out to Tommy G, man, and Carl Barney for the video. And I'll catch y'all on the next one, man. Shout out to subscribers to the video, man. Y'all like and comment on the video. Let me know what y'all thoughts is.